power run off battery. Sorry to hear about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Well, a big part of the Air Force is going to walk out the door today. Today we say so long to our adults who's played roles of tremendous importance in lots of the areas that we're familiar with here, certainly, but across other important areas in the Air Force as well. Really hard to measure the impact that Larry's had in bringing the expertise that he's had in the operational Air Force into our presence here and been influencing things that happen here. I think that's a tremendously important aspect of the people's influence on ASD and the role that we have in our Air Force. He's been seasoned in working ASD programs long even before he was here in his role as a test pilot in other parts of the Air Force, specifically out at Edwards and down Degland. So even though his assignment here just began in the summer of '84, his influence here at Wright Field has been felt for a long time. He's a native of Kansas, was a distinguished graduate of the ROTC program at Kansas State, which doesn't surprise me a bit, having gotten to know him over the last 2+ years. Went to flying school at Moore Air Base, and that's located in the town of Mission, or near the town of Mission, Texas, and that's a neat sounding city to be near and starting here. Entrance into the Air Force. Graduated, got his wings at Webb Air Force Base at Big Springs, then went on to Luke Air Force Base, and then Nellis for F-100 training. Went over to Japan to join the 36th TAC Fighter Squadron at Itsuki. Spent a couple of years there, and then moved with the squadron up to Yokota Air Base in Japan. Came back in September of '65 to McConnell. Wasn't there very long. Entered the what was then called the Experimental Aerospace. What was it?
ARPS, Aerospace
Research Pilot School, right? Because the Air Force was going big in space then, we thought, in manned space. And graduated in January of '67, and then went to Eglin, his first tour at Eglin as a test pilot there, flying the F-100 and the F-4, F-105, the A-7. And funny, one of our products called the QU-22, which was an interesting little airplane that had an exciting life. during the Vietnam War as a drone, but first was flown as a manned airplane. Then in 1970, went over to Southeast Asia as a forward air controller, first with the 196th Brigade. It was called the 196th Light Infantry Brigade when I knew it. I don't know whether that was still the configuration they were in, but flew the OV-10 there out of Chulai, and then moved over as Assistant Ops Officer, ADO, in the 504th Tactical Air Control Group at Cameron Bay. Came back from there and went to another foreign assignment, this time to Southern Methodist University at Dallas, Texas, and got his master's degree in engineering management. And then went to the Air Staff for about four and a half years, first as a fighter requirements officer and the director of operational requirements, and then moved over into the acquisition side and was in the F-16 program. Went from there back out to Edwards, was in test ops there, and then moved on up and became deputy commandant of the test pilot school. Went to the Air War College in 1980, and then in 81 was assigned back to Eglin, this time as director of test engineering, and then as deputy commander of the test wing at Eglin. And then came here in 1984, first assigned as the director of the Flight Dynamics Lab, and then last summer moved over as the deputy for engineering. Has had a great influence, as I said, in many of our programs, even before he got here, but certainly after he's been here, his tracks of his footprints have been all over what went on first in the Flight Dynamics Lab and the many interesting flying programs that we have there. Some of our X airplanes coming back into business, the forward swept wing, X-29, and he played a key role in not only overseeing the management of the program, but being sure that when it went to its first flight, it was ready to go. And we earned ourselves some notoriety working on one of the little problems, and that is a matter of flight discipline, but it was, I think, well done and rested soundly on the advice that I got from Larry. But a lot of other things going on in the Flight Dynamics Lab at that time. Other flying programs, we're doing our best to update the variable stability airplane that we have. We now have an old T-33 that both is outserved its time in terms of the performance that the airplane has, but also it's a very difficult airplane to execute the primary mission of varying the stability because of the epoch of the avionics that are in it. Obviously, we need a more capable airplane, and Colonel Van Pelt was successful in lobbying for that, both to get the program sold and then getting an F-16D available from the Tactical Air Command. And having been down there, I know that they don't give up F-16s lightly. Lots of programs underway in the Flight Dynamics Lab, working with the other labs, and I think that's where we really do our best work, but we don't do it very often because it is difficult to do. But working on night attack, train avoidance, such thing as programs for train avoidance and threat avoidance, I think is going to become a reality in the Air Force here over the next decade. And Colonel Van Pelt's push on that was certainly instrumental in it being as far along as it is right now. Then over in engineering, of course, that's one of our big strengths. It's the thing that, one of the key things that makes ASD different from the other product divisions, the fact that we have our own organic engineering capability. And there he was effective in working many of the important efforts, particularly the institutional ones, but also seeing that our programs were adequately staffed with the kind of technical strength that they need to have, given the limit on people resources that we face. we've moved forward in the matter of creating a single building to house the diverse technical areas that reside in our Deputy for Engineering. And I think that's a tremendously important thing to do because of the integration that we now have in all of our systems, whereas we used to could allow the propulsion people to be off to one side and the airframe people on another and the avionics people on another. They needed to communicate, but never like they do today when we have such programs as the short takeoff and landing and maneuver program, where when the pilot pulls on the stick while he's actually using avionics, he's obviously using flight controls and he's using the propulsion system all at the same time. And that's the way of the future, I believe. And so the integration of those technical specialties has never been more important than it is today. We have the program, at least in the funded element, as it resides now. The battle isn't over yet, but it's as far along as it could be at this point. The general welfare, I think, of our engineering force is great because of the kind of leadership that Colonel Van Pelt provides. So I'm delighted to be able to recognize you, Larry, here, certainly with Carolyn and the children, but also with your mother and dad, so that they can see the esteem of what you're doing. To read the citation.
Citation to accompany the award of the Legion of Merit to Larry G. Van Pelt. Colonel Van Pelt distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding services to the United States as Director, Flight Dynamics Laboratory, Air Force Wright Aeronautical Laboratories, and Deputy for Engineering, Aeronautical Systems Division, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, from 16 January 1984 to 31 May 1986. In these important assignments, Colonel Van Pelt provided strong leadership and direction to several laboratory technology flight demonstrator programs, including the radically new experimental X-29 and the Advanced Fighter Technology Integration F-16. As Deputy for Engineering, he provided the leadership to direct the Air Force's largest in-house engineering agency to build our aircraft of tomorrow. The exemplary foresight and devotion to duty consistently demonstrated by Colonel Van Pelt resulted in the development and application of a wide range of aeronautical technologies vital to meeting the future defense needs of the nation. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Van Pelt culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force.
Publish the orders.
Department of the Air Force, Washington, D.C. Special Order Number AC 020435, dated 19 February 1986. Subject: retirement. Colonel Larry G. Van Pelt, Deputy for Engineering, Aeronautical Systems Division, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, was relieved from active duty effective 31 May 1986. Colonel Van Pelt is retired in the grade of Colonel effective 1 June 1986 under the provisions of Air Force Regulation 35-7. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Signed, Charles A. Gabriel, General, United States Air Force, Chief of Staff.
And we have a certificate of requirement to reflect that. Our best wishes. Carolyn joins, please. I've said many times in this room that the Air Force gets a great deal when we get a super officer. Why, invariably that he'll have a super spouse, and that's certainly the case in the Van Pelt contract. We got a good deal for that. So I wanted to, perhaps belatedly, but recognize you with this certificate of appreciation from the United States Air Force. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Carolyn A. Van Pelt, on the occasion of the retirement of her husband from active duty with the United States Air Force, has earned grateful appreciation for her own unselfish, faithful, and devoted service. Her unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible her husband's lasting contribution to the nation the first day of June 1986, and signed by myself and the Chief and with our
want to thank you, sir, for the mark of excellence that you put on the ceremony. You've been an example for us in the pursuit of excellence that just continues to be a pinnacle, and we appreciate that. The prestige you bring to it, my family and I will long remember and appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank each one of you for being here. You represent and signify and bring to focus the reality of the Air Force family. And the Air Force family has meant a lot to us over the years. You put meaning and you put melancholy in our memories. And I'd like to thank the Lord for my own immediate family. You know, they've been throughout my career. It's not just my career. Carolyn and Valerie and Vicki and my mother and father were at my commissioning. You know, and I just rejoice that they could be through the entire thing. Doug missed out on the commissioning. He came along and did Azuki. but in reality, I don't think our children have known anything but their father being in the Air Force. And it's been a great career. The Air Force taught me about the value of the family. You know, my career's not a book. I think of it as a volume because we're going to start another volume tomorrow. And but in that volume, there's 17 chapters, 17 PCSs, and in each one of those chapters, you'll find a special part of the Air Force family. And there's some here from those early chapters. General Bracken, we used to call him Elephant then, but back at Itazuki, and General Yates, we had some great times back there in the fighter base capital of the world, you know, Itazuki. And then throughout all the chapters, and the great chapters here recently, where the General, you saw fit to put me in a great organization, Flight Dynamics Laboratory, and then EN. My goodness, what a cap to a great career. And that, but throughout that entire volume, in every chapter, you'll find these people. My family's, you know, and that's typical with any Air Force family. You'll find the immediate families there throughout every chapter. In fact, there was one chapter when they were about the only thing, when we were in that foreign assignment down in Dallas, going to SMU, and it was really just us, Civilian Institute. And that chapter saw a couple things. Saw me become a Christian, saw a full family become Cowboy fans. Now, I know there'd be some who say there's a conflict of terms there. But becoming Cowboy fans was really fun for us and brought us together, and we needed that moving into dreaded Redskin territory in Washington, where we spent the next 4 years fooling with the Brackens and all the Redskin fans. And becoming a Christian, well, Jesus in my life has made a difference. He's helped knit our family together, knit our hearts together in His love, and He's also given me the direction and the power to do my work heartily, you know, with vigor and enthusiasm. And whether it's been writing the first PMD for the F-16, or doing a strategic planning for the Flight Dynamics Lab, or doing a paper airplane contest, you know, I just found that invigoration and that enthusiasm, and we have so much of that right here in the Air Force and in the young people, and they bring it up, and it's great to be around young people. So I want to thank you, sir, for remembering that career. You brought back a lot of memories. I would like to focus on and bring up one aspect of the career, if you'll indulge me. I'd like to point at one symbol, one Air Force symbol that I wear, the wings of an Air Force pilot. I don't do this, and there's nothing with respect to those that don't have wings or have different kinds of wings, because if there's anybody that appreciates what the non-rated does in this Air Force, it's me, the technical folk, the guys in personnel, the guys in finance, and those great guys out in the line that keep the airplanes going. It's just a great team, a great family. But I want to focus on the wings, not for what they mean in terms of the difficulty it took to earn them or the adventure that was there wearing them. But I'd like to focus on, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of the people I associated with that I shared those wings with. And at this time and at this place, I'd like to recognize my squadron buddies that didn't live to see their retirement. My buddies that were good friends, that we talked together, we worked together, we fought together, and did a lot of things together. And but because of their commitment to the calling of an Air Force pilot, they paid the ultimate price while they were at the controls of their aircraft, and I'd like to remember them. Brian Frankfather, F-100. Bill Spencer, F-100. Ron Stewart, F-100. Paul Moore, F-100. Rocky Bowles, F-105. Bob Schuler, F-105. Ted Shattuck, F-105. Mel Morrill, F-105. Jim Fowler, F-4. Bill Schultz, A-1. Dave Tittle, XV-5. George Goodwin, F-106. Pete Marshall, F-100. Gary Halala, F-4. Bob Chastain, F-105. Oscar Dardo, F-105. Pat Masterson, A-1. Keith Brown, F-111. Even my basic pilot instructor, Len Krishak. And there's one that wasn't in my squadron, it was in a sister squadron, but when he was in Stanley Val, we flew check rides together, and was a friend of most of you in this room, a lieutenant general named Bobby Bond. I'm so very proud to have known and been associated with men of such uncommon and noble service and sacrifice. And on this, my retirement day, I salute them. I love the Air Force. I want to thank each of you for being a part of this special moment in our lives. God bless you.
Big families, they get organized. Let's get together. Come on, let's get closer. Get it off?
Yes.
Good. Why don't we ask everybody to stay? Larry, you come up here at the head of the line if you would, and let everybody come by and shake your hands with
Don't I think they put parts. Parts here.
Larry's group, are you?
I guess they didn't really realize that. Well, they should have realized. That made people when I saw it,
Thank you for coming in.
General, I have to say I miss it better as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get further history.
Oh, good. I was just going ahead and
Well, I didn't get to do that. Yeah, it was one speech on that.
Well, I didn't get one.
Well, you're second. Let me see that.
Well, I don't know. I guess a lot of people are undecided. A lot of people have their minds made up irrespective of the facts.
There's more there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
There's always a few that way.
Well, you always do. Sponsor. I know, I do. And they can do the ceremony.
We have all
Yeah.